Picture this. You're hiking in the middle of nowhere, your phone shows no signal bars, but you can still make calls and send messages. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, Samsung's upcoming Galaxy S26 series is about to make this a reality. The Galaxy S26, S26 Plus, and S26 Ultra have just passed through FCC certification, and the documents reveal something incredible. These phones will feature satellite communication capabilities that could change how we think about staying connected. But that's not all. We're also getting major storage upgrades, privacy display technology, and some interesting news about a camera button that almost happened. Today, we're breaking down everything you need to know about Samsung's most ambitious Galaxy S series yet. So buckle up, because these revelations are going to change the smartphone game forever. Let's start with the biggest news. Satellite communication is finally coming to Samsung phones. The FCC certification documents for the US variants of all three S26 models reveal something remarkable. These phones will support what's called supplemental coverage from space, or SCS for short. They'll also work with non-terrestrial networks, which is the technical standard that makes satellite communication possible. But what does this actually mean for you as a user? Well, imagine you were in a rural area with absolutely no cell towers nearby. Your phone would normally be useless for calls and messages. But with the S26 series, your phone could connect directly to satellites overhead. This means you could send and receive messages even when there's no cellular network in range. The technology works through a partnership with Skylo, which is a leading service provider that connects regular smartphones to existing satellites. Now, before you get too excited, there's a catch. This feature will likely be limited to select countries and markets, probably starting with the US. But this is still a huge step forward for smartphone connectivity. Think about the safety implications alone. If you're ever in an emergency situation without cell service, your phone could still reach the outside world. Moving on to storage, Samsung is finally making a change that's long overdue. For years, the base Galaxy S model has started with just 128 gigs of storage. Sure, the Plus and Ultra models got 256 gigs as their starting point, but that base model was stuck in the past. Well, according to recent reports, Samsung is finally ditching that 128 gigs starting point for the S26. This is huge news because 128 gigs just isn't enough anymore. Modern apps are bigger, photos and videos take up more space, and we're storing more content locally on our devices. Google has been stubborn about keeping 128 gigs options on their Pixel phones, so it's great to see Samsung taking the lead here. With apps getting larger and camera quality improving, having more storage from the start makes perfect sense. Plus, Samsung has historically used slower storage on those 128 gigs models, so this upgrade should improve overall performance too. Now let's talk about something that has me a bit concerned: Samsung's new privacy display technology. Samsung has confirmed that a new display technology they call a new layer of privacy is coming soon. This feature, known as Flex Magic Pixel, is essentially a privacy screen built right into the display. It would prevent people from seeing your screen content when they're looking from the side. Sounds amazing, right? The problem is that this feature might be exclusive to the S26 Ultra. And that's where I have an issue with Samsung's approach. See, Samsung has built its modern identity around security and privacy. They gave us Knox security, industry-leading security patches, and post-quantum cryptography. Samsung consistently positions security as a core value, not a premium extra. But if they make the privacy display exclusive to the most expensive model, they're essentially putting a price tag on privacy. This isn't like making the Ultra model have better cameras or faster charging. Privacy and security features should be available to everyone, not just people who can afford the top-tier phone. Samsung even said themselves that there is no privacy without strong security. So why would they limit a security feature to just one model? I really hope Samsung reconsiders and brings this privacy display to all S26 models. Speaking of displays, there's more good news for the S26 Ultra. According to reliable tipster Ice Universe, the S26 Ultra will finally get a 10-bit display panel. This is an upgrade from the 8-bit panel currently used on the S25 Ultra. The difference is pretty significant. While an 8-bit panel can show about 16.7 million colors. A 10-bit panel can reproduce over 1 billion colors. This means you'll see richer colors, smoother gradients, and much better HDR performance. Many competing brands have already moved to 10-bit displays, so it's about time Samsung caught up. The S26 Ultra is also rumored to have a 6.89-inch M14 OLED panel with increased brightness and tougher glass. Combined with that 10-bit color depth, this should be one impressive display. Now, here's something interesting that almost happened but probably didn't make the cut. A former employee of one of Samsung's supply partners mentioned on LinkedIn that they worked on a new camera button with swipe gesture functionality for the Galaxy S26 series. This sounds very similar to Apple's camera control button on the iPhone 16 series. The idea would be to have a dedicated camera button that could handle taps and swipe gestures for adjusting zoom and camera settings. It would have haptic feedback and work like a capacitive surface. Honestly, this sounds like a great idea, especially for people who take a lot of photos. Having dedicated hardware controls for the camera could make photography much more intuitive and fast. But here's the thing. None of the recent renders or dummy models of the S26 phones show any extra buttons. None of the reliable leakers have mentioned a camera button either. So it seems like Samsung explored this idea but decided not to include it in the final design. Maybe they ran into technical challenges, or perhaps they felt it would make the phones too complex. Or maybe they're saving it for the S27 series next year. It's actually pretty common for phone manufacturers to test out features that don't make it to the final product. Sometimes it's due to cost, sometimes it's technical limitations, and sometimes it just doesn't fit with the overall design vision. But the fact that Samsung was considering this shows they're paying attention to what other manufacturers are doing. Camera buttons have started showing up on other Android flagships, so Samsung exploring this option makes perfect sense. All three Galaxy S26 models will be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chip, which should provide excellent performance. They'll also support all the connectivity options you'd expect: 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G with both millimeter wave and sub-6 GHz bands. Wi-Fi 7 support is included, along with Bluetooth LE, NFC, ultra-wideband, and wireless charging. Samsung is expected to announce the S26 series in the last week of February 2026. Pre-orders could start the same day in select markets, with general availability beginning in the second week of March 2026. That's still a ways off, but these leaks and certifications are giving us a pretty clear picture of what to expect. The satellite communication feature alone could be a game changer for people who travel to remote areas or work in locations with poor cell coverage. Combined with the storage upgrades and display improvements, the S26 series is shaping up to be a significant upgrade over the current generation. So there you have it, the S26 series is bringing some truly groundbreaking features to the table. Satellite communication capabilities could revolutionize how we stay connected in remote areas. The storage upgrades are long overdue and will benefit everyone who uses these phones. The 10-bit display on the Ultra model should provide stunning visual quality. My only concern is Samsung potentially limiting the privacy display feature to just the Ultra model. Privacy and security shouldn't be premium features, they should be available to everyone. What do you think about these S26 revelations? Are you excited about satellite communication, or are you more interested in the storage and display upgrades? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing your thoughts. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tech news and analysis. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.